now look at the second novel. So this is question 2, Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Exactly the same format. Extract C. And then it tells you which chapter it's from. Exactly the same kind of question that we saw in the previous one. The characters on the left and their roles or their jobs on the right. Then we've got setting, and what did we say about setting? It is time and place. So you say this is where it happens, and this is what has just happened, just before the extract. This means that you really need to know your text and state 2 points. Remember, when you have anything in inverted commas, you need to explain that. So you need to paraphrase, give me a synonym, explain it in your own words, and then 2 points to explain whatever this word is. 2.1.4 is the multiple choice question. This actually was quite a tricky one, I thought, because if you hadn't looked very carefully at the word holograph, you're actually not going to know the answer. So please notice that sometimes the multiple choice question can be a vocabulary question and might not be a very obvious word. Right, now we come to the figure of speech question. So identify the figure of speech. So you're going to say it's a simile, metaphor, personification, whatever it is. Then explain why it's relevant. Remember, they don't really mean relevant, they mean effective. So if you have somebody being described as a fiend is a devil, so you'd explain in what way that person is a devil with some evidence. And that would get you your figure of speech question here. What does he mean? You're simply paraphrasing. Put it into your own words. Paraphrase. Why? You are telling me the story in your own words. You're just explaining. You're giving me a reason. Tell me what happened. Now, this one is this last question in a section. You are given a statement. When you give your PEE or your PEA, do not see your point as Dr. Jekyll is an honorable man. You need to say he is honorable because, or he's not honorable because. Then you need to give me the evidence that you say he is honorable or he isn't honorable. And then you need to discuss that evidence. How does the evidence show that he is or he isn't honorable? So it's really important. Discuss your view. You're going to start with yes or no. The usual yes or no. He is honorable or he isn't. Or you can say, I agree or I disagree. Yes or no. No problem. Then you might want to bullet the answer. So I agree that, or I disagree that Dr. Jekyll is not an honorable man because he wants to explore his less pleasant emotions, whatever. So you can't just repeat the statement, you need to give me a reason. So that's your point. Then you might want to bullet. We see this when he develops a potion which he can drink, which releases Mr. Hyde, who is violent and evil, right? and then your analysis. It's therefore not, this shows me that he's not honorable because he wants to explore those hidden, disruptive, and vicious aspects of his own nature. So remember, the statement question, you can't just repeat the statement. You say, yes, I agree, or no, I don't agree, but then you need to make a point, your point, not the statement given back to you. And remember, there's always a second extract. We've got extract D. Once again, we've got something in inverted commas. You've got the description, the simile. You've also got the ironic, and remember you say X, but Y. We expect this, but this is the reality. And then you're explaining why. So we expect something, but this is the reality. You also need to make sure that you're explaining disconsolate prisoner. Then we've got tone. We talked about the tone question. You're going to say what kind of tone. You go back to line 5. So if I want to say he's using a supportive tone or an encouraging tone, remember, it's the feeling first and then the word tone. So you give me the feeling and then the tone. He would be encouraging because you begin this answer showing absolutely clearly the link to that. Why is it false? When I first read this question, I actually was very bad. I stopped here and said it's false because they don't go to whip up the circulation. They are very peaceful and relaxed and tranquil. It's a very quiet walk. But of course, what they wanted was it doesn't happen on a Saturday. So please don't do what I did. I jumped instead of thinking, right? And I would have preferred the question to say, Mr. Enfield, Mr. Utterson, go for a walk every Saturday. Why is that false? They confused me by putting this in first. But it's my own stupid fault. I didn't read to the end of the question. Learn from my mistakes. Right, state of mind. Let's just remind you, a state of mind question is a feeling. It is an emotion question. You must not just launch into this. You must say, I don't want character, in other words. I don't want her state of mind as in telling me about her character. I want her feeling or his feeling in this extract. So you need to look at the lines. How are they feeling in this extract? That's the state of mind question. This is simply a describe question. It's really easy. Do you know your novel? Just describe any other incident. Give me enough detail. Tell me what happens. Shouldn't be a problem at all. Right, this is a character question. So remember, you can't just say it shows us something about Mr. Utterson's character. It's got to be this extract. So what do we know about Mr. Utterson? Maybe you want to argue that he's very serious or he's a very loyal friend. Well, which one is it in this extract? So everything that you've studied, everything that you've learnt, you remember it. Then you go to that extract and you say, okay, what are we seeing about the man in this extract? Which of his characteristics that we discussed in class can I see here? and then you give me reasons for your answer. So if you've said he's a very loyal friend, you then say, because we see this and I understand the following. This is the theme question. Remember what we said, you're going to use your PEE or your PEA. Your point is, one of the themes is about mystery, things that are hidden. Then you're going to say, we see this when, and you're going to tell me the story, and then you're going to say, this shows, and then you're going to show me what it shows about things being hidden or mysterious or behind closed doors or whatever it is. 2.2.8. When I first saw this, I thought this is a really odd question, but I've realized that they wanted to throw a little tricky thing in here, because we're going to discuss, it's a discuss question for 3 marks, whether as his lawyer he has a right to be concerned about Dr. Jekyll. And I think where I confused myself is I thought, no, hang on a second, as a friend, a lawyer doesn't have a right. Well, that's the obvious point. So discuss your view, P-E-E or P-E-A. So Mr. Utterson does not have a right to be concerned about Dr. Jekyll as his lawyer, right? What is my evidence? A lawyer has to deal with the will. He has to make sure that he executes the instructions of his client correctly, and then I would explain what instructions Dr. Jekyll gave him, what will he has given him, what it's all about, and say that as a lawyer, he simply has to do his job. Remember, you begin with yes, I agree, or no, I don't agree. You begin, except it's do not agree, because we want to use the best possible English that we have. So yes, no, I agree, I don't agree, P-E-A. So what we've seen in this section is this is the second novel, and on the whole, I don't think that many candidates are answering on this novel, which is why I've gone through it quite quickly. But do remember that it's the same type of question each time.